when he was by himself. They sort of figured, well, if the turkeys like him, he must be okay. And so he saw more deer, more snakes, more spiders, more turtles. And he observed that this was the same world he was in before, but now he saw it more present. He saw the world more completely. Well, that's what a symbol does. It's a window into the wildness and the aliveness of the universe, and you don't know when it's going to turn up. It could be a wild turkey, it could be a light lamp lit, it could be a meal you host. Anything that opens the window into the universe is what we're looking for, and it can happen to you, and that's what you want to have happen. You're coming to church hoping that it might happen to you here. It won't. But if you come to church often enough, it might happen to you sometime else. But you have to be wary. If you look for the windows, you might find yourself looking out one. And here's what happens if you look out one of those symbol windows into the universe. Every year I read Dickens' Christmas Carol, and there's a segment at the end of the first stave, and it goes like this. I'm trying to find it. Okay. I'm looking for my text to make sure I get it just right. Scrooge became sensible to confused noises in the air as he looked through his window. Incoherent sounds of lamentation and regret, wailings inexpressibly sorrowful and self-accusatory. The specter of Marley's ghost listened for a moment and then joined the mournful dirge, and he floated out upon the bleak, dark night. And Scrooge looked through the window, desperate in his curiosity, and looked out. Any day, a window can open up onto the vastness of life. It could be in a moment of sorrow, a time of joy, the daily act we overlook, a profound thought. It could grab you by the collar, or you could find it under an envelope. From that moment on, every candle you see will be lit for Rama and Lakshmi and for Shabbat and Jesus. You will never be able to keep them out again. Every word you hear will have echoes of Hebrew and Sanskrit and Latin and Zulu you will never hear in one language again. Once you look through a window, every story will remind you of another story, and Gilgamesh and Moses and Genji will all blend together. Nothing will ever be the way it was. If you ever look through the window, you cannot come away from it the same person you started. And when you do that, yes, you will have a more meaningful life, but you will be very lonesome. Because once you behold the universe with your own eyes and hear it completely with your own ears and can feel the spirits wafting around you, everything else will feel, look, and hear differently. And no one else will believe you when you tell them. That's the hard part. Not in vain did someone say, they whom the gods would punish are granted their prayers. So be careful if you wish a spiritual life. You just might get it. But it's worth it. It is so worth it. Amen and amen. We have to sing another hymn. Is that a good thing? I think that's a good thing. I should do a sermon about why we sing hymns. Do you sing hymns at home? I sincerely doubt it. This is not the kind of stuff on your lips. I just know it. Now, I'll talk about rituals. But we're going to sing Light of Ages and of Nations. I'm going to, as Lee gets ready, I helped write this hymn book, and there are two tunes that we use for this, and I was torn because I chose the one I prefer, but those who will recognize it as two things. One as a tune by Franz Joseph Haydn from his beautiful quartet, the Emperor Quartet. It's fabulous, a theme and variations that is splendid. But it's also the tune for the German national anthem. And for some people, that's a jarring experience. But I want you to feel the dissonance as well as the consonance, to feel the beauty of the music and the terrible association that music once had, to hear the majesty of the words and experience their betrayal by those who sang these notes. So let us sing in troubled notes, Light of Ages and of Nations. Written in the soul's deep pages are the truths that live beyond word and thought, the ones we sense within our hearts and minds, the ones that tell us that we live in this world, as Mary Oliver puts it, we have to do three things: to love what is mortal, to hold it against our bones, knowing our life depends on it, and when the time comes to let it go, to let it go. Therefore, we part from this place this week knowing that yet another week will come and go, and in each of those days we will be grateful because it is a day which the Lord will make. And then always, ever and always, let us rejoice and be glad for the gifts we never realize we receive. Amen and amen.